Hello and welcome to Live with Liz. I'm Liz Hansen from the Chicago Boudoir Photography Studio. And if you've been here for a little bit, you know that what I do in these Live with Liz interviews is bring on women who are making a difference. And I am so excited today to have Emma Walkenshaw with us. She is here online all the way from Australia. Welcome, Emma.
Hello, Liz, and hello, everybody. It's so wonderful to be here. Yes, here I am, all the way over the other side of the world, and isn't it great that we can connect? So good.
It is amazing. So, Emma, you call yourself a body confidence coach. Tell us what that is and what you do.
Yes, so I am a body confidence coach, and it was really born out of my own, I guess you could say, my own Achilles heel. So my whole journey of being a teen and then an adult woman was always a struggle with my relationship with my body. It never felt good enough. It was never the right size. And of course, us women who have grown up in the 80s and 90s, and even I'm going to say the 2000s, we were raised by women around us that were on diets all the time. So, diet culture was a very big theme in my life with my mother and my grandmother. And of course, they were very well meaning. There was no harm meant. However, I got into this cycle of go on a diet, and whether it be 30 days to thin thighs, the shake diet, the cabbage soup diet, the Jenny Craig, the Weight Watchers, you name it, there is not a diet that I have not done. But the cycle was restrict, deprive, beat myself up, lose the weight, still not be satisfied, put the weight back on, and then we go again. So I got to the point in my life where I thought there has got to be a better way. So during the process, although it wasn't an overnight thing though, Liz, it was a process, a slow process. And I must say, I'm now 49. At the ripe old age of maybe 38, 39, I started to really deepen my practice of yoga. And having a body that was a size 14, and now I'm a size 16, but a size 14 body,
I'm going to
I
stop
felt
you
that I
there for just a second. Do you know if US sizes are the same as Australia sizes?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't
I'm not
either.
sure. No, that's a good question. So,
I've
yeah,
never
that's a
been to
really good question.
Australia. I'm just curious.
Yeah. Actually, do you know what I believe US is a little bit bigger for our size, I believe.
I think you're right.
But don't quote. Yeah, I think
I
they
think
are.
you guys are
So,
closer to UK sizes,
yes. Yeah, I
but I
believe
could be
so.
wrong.
Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't mean to
Yeah.
interrupt you.
Yes, yeah. So even the label that I'd given myself, thinking that I was a big woman, when in actual fact I'm a mid-sized woman, and I'm actually the average size, but in my mind, I was a big girl. So then the journey of deepening my yoga practice, and during the yoga practice, I started to realize that the relationship with my body was starting to strengthen. I was starting to come from a different angle and say, do you know what? This body is strong, this body can balance, this body is stable. So that's where the bridge started to happen. I then studied to be a yoga teacher, not with the intention to be a yoga teacher, because again, I thought, do I have the right to stand in front of a room of people and guide them through yoga in a bigger body? This was the narrative. And this is what I believe a lot of us hold ourselves back. How many women sit on the sideline of a swimming pool and not get in there with their children because of the story they've told themselves? So that started to become very prevalent in my life, that this story and this narrative I'd had has actually held me back and stopped me living a really fulfilled life. But then, as I deepened my yoga practice and I became a yoga teacher, and then I opened a yoga studio. And the thing that used to surprise me, Liz, how many women, first of all, it takes a lot of courage. So, all the women that step into a yoga studio or a gym, well done, because it takes a lot of courage to do that. Because when we've got this voice in our head telling us that we're not good enough, we're not flexible, we're not fit, we're not, that can be really challenging to step into a studio. So then as a studio owner of this beautiful place that did reformer Pilates and did yoga, I would have women straight away when they would come to sign up for a membership or have a first class, I would meet with them and they would all apologize for their body. And this was women in all shapes and sizes. So they would be saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not very fit. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not very flexible. I'm sorry, I can't balance. I'm sorry that I'm really weak at the moment." And I was like, "Gosh, we are just in this culture where no one ever came to me and told me what their body could do and how wonderful it was. They all told me how terrible it was." And it just wasn't true. And the other thing that would happen in a yoga class, I loved that I would be proven wrong every time. Someone would come and I'd think, "Oh, I'm not sure if they could do that pose or that pose can happen." And I would be surprised and delighted time and time again at how a body that perhaps was bigger could do a pose that a smaller body couldn't. And it just proved to me that there is no one size fits all. Bodies are wonderful and they can do many things in many shapes and sizes. So that was how the approach happened. And then while owning the yoga studio, I sold that 2 years ago, but I had the studio for 4 years. And in that time, I'd already studied to be a life coach, but then started to really work with women and run workshops. I run a workshop called The Embodied Woman. I run retreats for women. And this is where we really start to talk about the belief system that we have. And we start to appreciate and fall in love with our body again. But it is a process, it's not an overnight thing. We're undoing years of belief and years of story that we've told ourselves. Yeah, so that's how I come to call myself a body confidence coach with the work I do with women, born from yoga. Mm.
I love that. And your story resonated so much with me. So I go to a gym and just a couple weeks ago, I remember telling my trainer, "Oh, I have weak arms. I'm so sorry. I can't do that. My arms are too weak. I'm sorry." Why do I feel like I need to apologize for my body when I'm at the gym? Why do we do that, Emma?
I, yes, it's this thing that we just somehow told ourselves it's just never good enough. And I don't know if the women listening have had an experience where they have had a goal, let's say, and they've got to the weight they've got to and still arrived there and still not been happy, still said, "This is flabby," or "That's untoned," or this or that. When I believe that it's all a bit of an illusion, and particularly the work that you do. And we chatted about this last week on my podcast. And we said, when a photo's taken, we'll look back 1 year or 5 years and go, "Gosh, I look good." You're right here, right now. We look amazing. We are perfectly imperfect right now. But we have this thing that we do to ourselves.
So, I want to hear a little bit more about these retreats that you did. I know sometimes you've gone to India. Tell me a little bit about people who work with you and people who go on retreats with you. What do you do that
Yes.
helps women find themselves when they come to work with you?
So the retreats that I run, so India and also here in Australia, Byron Bay is the other location. So those of you who've not been to Australia, check out Byron Bay. It's around where I live on the Gold Coast. It's about an hour drive and it's absolutely stunning. So Byron Bay has got a hinterland, so we run in there. And then India, of course. So
Sounds so
on the retreat,
magical.
it is gorgeous, just divine. So on the retreats, it's very much an immersion of women coming together in sacredness. And particularly when women come together and sit in a circle, magic happens. And also the connection with women. Women need women. We love connection. We love to talk. We love to unfold. So on our retreats in India, so I co-facilitate with a dear friend, Yogi Louis, and we take women and we do a tour of India, but in between that, we weave in personal development and transformation. So, of course, my part of that process is I talk through our relationship with our body, and we do lots of beautiful little processes, and also through yoga. So, yin yoga and also hatha yoga. I believe the somatic movement also helps free out some energy in our body and release some of these stories or beliefs we have. So a lot of magic happens. And then Yogi Louis, she's a trained yoga therapist. So she also comes in with her wisdom as well. So we've taken around 12 women. So each we're about to run one in November in Kerala, the south of India, and that's got a real Ayurveda flavor to it. So Ayurveda, those who don't know what Ayurveda is, it is an Indian methodology where they use oils, massage, and different treatments to actually balance your hormones, bring your equilibrium back. So where we're actually heading in Kerala, we're Ayurveda was born, we're going to do a lot of Ayurveda, as well as Kerala is known as the land of the coconuts, and it's the backwaters of India, as well as in the hinterland is the tea and the spices. So it is just divine. So that's how, and in that is it's called Divine Feminine, our one in November. So it's again lots of beautiful, gentle practices to help bring us back home. We have a saying we're all just walking each other back home. So back home to our body, back home to ourselves. And I feel that's what I love about yoga too. On the mat, it's just between you and you. It is a really beautiful place to reconnect to that inner part of you that maybe has been missing for some time. So that's very much the vibe of our trip. And then the one that we do in March is the Golden Triangle. So we do Agra. So the one in Kerala is a little bit more gentle, softer, very retreat style, although we still explore southern India. The one in March is a 12-day retreat, and we do Agra, the Taj Mahal, which, yes, she is everything as spectacular as you think she is. She's divine, the Taj Mahal. And then we do Jaipur, which is known as the Pink City, and it's a terracotta pink, and it's where all block printing and fabric is made. It's one of my most favorite places. Jaipur is incredible, and lots of gemstones, and the history is really rich there. Actually, there's a great book if you are curious about India, and it's called, gosh, it's escaped me now. It is The Henna Artist. It's a trilogy. So it's The Henna Artist of Jaipur, and there's 3 books. Maybe I'll send you the link, Liz, and you can pop it
Yeah, I
in
would
the
love
group.
to.
But yes, but if you read those books, it really encapsulates India. So, little side note there. And then we also do Rishikesh, which is the top of India. So, we'll do Taj Mahal, Jaipur, Delhi, and then Rishikesh, where yoga was born. And there we have this most beautiful time on the Mother Ganges, the Ganges. It's at the foot of the Himalayas and just stunning. So, it's very gentle. And our retreats, you do not have to be a yoga lover. It's more wanting to connect back to yourself and getting community with other women. So yeah, it is
Love
just
that. Love
incredible.
that.
Yeah, beautiful.
I wanted to come back to something you said about how, so I think a lot of us think like, okay, if I lost 20 pounds, if I became a size 8, I would love my body. In fact, I would never, like, that's all I want. I just want to be in a smaller body. But like you said, that's kind of an illusion. Can you talk about why just getting to be in a smaller body is not actually the goal?
Mm. I feel that we have to love where we're at, and we are never going to shame ourselves thin. We're never going to hate ourselves thin. If we can work on the piece and be satisfied exactly where we're at. And I know like I always say, it's absolutely reasonable to want to be in a smaller body. It's absolutely reasonable to want to have a goal of fitness and health. However, we have to love ourselves on the way to that. Or, like I say, I don't even know about self love. Like I struggle even with self love. However, what I do know is I can respect myself, I can trust myself, and I can rely on myself. So even if you're in a bigger body and you feel that the only way for you to be satisfied is in a smaller body, perhaps self respect is the path. That's not about self love, saying, well, I'll love myself more when I'm smaller. What does self respect look like today? If you were just to respect yourself today, not when she's different or this body's better or this body's da 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 da, what would self respect look like today? And then start to treat your body. Because when we have this desire to be in a smaller body and a dissatisfaction in the body we're in, we're beating up on her all day, every day. And I don't know about you, Liz, but I don't work very well when someone's putting me down.
No.
I work much better when someone's encouraging me and respecting me.
I love the idea of like never say something to yourself that you wouldn't say to your friend, your best friend. Like I would never say to my best friend, "Oh, you look terrible in that outfit." But I would say that to myself, right? I
Yeah.
think we can
And
train.
yeah. And is that respectful?
No, totally. And I wouldn't allow my children to speak like that to someone else. But yet we allow
No.
ourselves to speak like that to ourselves.
Yeah. And would you trust yourself? Would you trust someone that said that to you? No. Would we? But yet we break our own trust and we disrespect ourselves through language exactly that. We would never say that to anyone. But how is it that we're so disrespectful to ourselves? And then the trust thing, because then when we break trust with ourselves, we then don't trust ourselves that we can feed ourselves, water ourselves, walk ourselves. And even the whole diet culture, our trust gets broken when we hand our power away to someone else and say, I can't actually be trusted to feed myself. Tell me what to eat. And then the
Mm,
diet tells us to have yogurt in the morning. You go, but I don't actually like yogurt, but someone else knows better than me.
mm.
We do this, there is this pattern that we've gotten into, and that's the bit. It doesn't happen overnight, but geez, self-awareness is a beautiful thing. And just starting to notice where we break trust and where we disrespect ourselves. It's not a matter of self-love for me. That for me is quite probably far in the future. And I'm not sure even what that looks like for me. But today it's about respect and trust. Respectful behavior is taking ourselves to the gym and getting on the mat, taking ourselves for a walk. That is so respectful. Feeding ourselves nutritious food, beautiful act of self-respect.
I think
Yeah.
that's so important and so powerful because so many people, you can't just wake up and be like, I love my body now. I'm just going to erase 40 years of diet culture and programming and beauty standards and I'm just going to love and I'm just going to, love my body just how it is. Like for many people that is just a leap too far, right? Like that's
Yeah.
not achievable, it's not believable. But I love what you're saying. What is achievable and what is powerful is the self-respect and the self-trust.
Yeah. And then self-reliability. Can I rely on myself? Am I a reliable person? And one year I have a word for every year, Liz. And one a few years ago, mine was I'm committed and consistent. And still I ask myself those questions. Am I committed? Am I consistent? And then what comes after that? Am I committed and consistent to a healthy relationship with my body and myself? Am I committed and consistent to practicing self-respect? You're asking yourself, and this is almost like the mind stuff that we need to speak to ourselves, like your example is if we're talking to our children or talking to a dear friend.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm committed and consistent to treating you with respect, dear friend, beautiful children, because that's kind.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, Emma, I know a lot of your work is with women in midlife. I'm putting that in quotes, 40 plus, right?
Yeah.
Tell me, what unique challenges do you think women in this age range have with body confidence? Or if not unique, what do you specifically want to work with women of in their 40s and 50s about body confidence?
Mm. I feel the biggest challenge in midlife is our body changing. So we are in midlife, and those of us who are in menopause or perimenopause, the body starts to change and it's real. We can pretend that it's not happening, but there is a shift often in our
Wait,
waistline.
wait. I need the tip on pretending that it's not happening because it's coming in loud for me, the perimenopause.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. It is, and we start to notice these shifts and really bizarre shifts and changes. I mean, example for me, my hair is getting. I mean, I've always had quite thin hair, but my hair is thinning, and I'm like, oh my God, not my hair. I've only got 5 hairs on my head. Don't take any more. Like it's I can only fluff this hair so much. So, and it's looking in the mirror and seeing fine lines and being able to reconcile that it's okay to age with grace, which is challenging because we have a world that tells us that as a woman, your value is in being thin and being youthful and looking young.
Yes.
So then when that goes, when that fades, when your looks start to fade, when you look like a midlife woman or your waistline shifts or your body doesn't, your waist isn't as slender as it used to be because this is what happens when hormones change. It just is a part of what happens. And then accepting that and being okay with it and not having this external that has us chasing all of the things. And I'm not saying if you like to get Botox and if you like to color your hair and if you like to, by all means do it, but do it because you're doing it for yourself, not because society tells you to. You ask yourself the question, is this for me or am I doing it because I think I should?
Mm.
That's the question. It's coming back home, and it's also okay to be unique. Yeah, I have a beautiful cousin and she's actually a model and she's gone grey. She's allowed her hair to grow out. And that was such a big decision and such a process for her. But you know what, Liz? She's getting more work than she's ever had having grey hair. So go figure. It's an interesting thing, but it was such a process for her to let go of colouring her hair. And she's absolutely stunning. When we're together, there wouldn't be a person that doesn't comment how beautiful her hair is. And she's saying, oh my gosh, my hair is so healthy. It's never been this healthy because she's not coloring it anymore.
Yeah.
But even the illusion, how many times, and I'm sure ladies listening now know someone who's gone grey who's absolutely rocking it.
Yes.
And yeah, and potentially thinking about it. And this is a wonderful thing. So I'm not anti doing, if it feels good to have your lips done or I'm not saying don't do it, but please do it for yourself. Don't do it because you think you should. We live in a world, and as women, we love beautiful things. We do. We're wired that way. So it's okay to love beauty, but please don't do it at the expense of putting yourself under pressure, whether it be financially or even just because someone else has mentioned something that you're aging, or there's sometimes people have some terrible partners too. So, yeah, I guess that's the thing too. So everyone each to their own. Absolutely. I'm not anti that stuff, but do it for you. Yeah.
A lot of things
Yeah.
in life are about the intention you put behind it and the energy you bring to it. I mean, and self-care, I believe, can include coloring your hair or doing any of these things, waxing, whatever feels right for you. But again, if you're doing it in the energy of self-care, that's different than in the energy of self-hate. Like I hate myself, so I have to go get my hair colored. I have to do Botox because I hate myself. That's such a different energy than I'm going to go take care of myself today and show my body a little love, and this is how I'm going to do it. Right?
Yes, I agree. Absolutely, Liz. That is so well said. You're right. It is the intention. If it comes from, because again, back to that saying, you can't hate yourself thin, you can't shame yourself skinny. It's exactly that. It can't come from that place of, well, I'm not enough, so I must fix it. I'm broken, I'm wrong, I'm bad. It has to be fixed. More from exactly that place going, do you know what? I really adorn myself and I would really love to have that color hair. And I think just a little bit of lips would be lovely, but it comes from that. I love that. That is
Different
such a great
place.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emma, I know you have some really powerful rituals that like a morning ritual and things that you do to keep yourself in this positive, radiant headspace that you're in. Can you tell us just a little bit about some of your personal rituals that you engage in?
Yes, I have a very, very simple morning practice, but it's quite powerful. So it's called 21 minutes of morning magic. And what 21 minutes of morning magic is 7 minutes of yoga, 7 minutes of meditation, and 7 minutes of flowetry, which is journaling, but I call it flowetry because I'm a bit of a romantic. So that is my morning practice.
Flow,
And
flow plus poetry.
yes,
Flow
yeah,
plus
that's it. Flowetry, flowetry. So
poetry.
the reason why I actually how it was born, I was leaving the yoga studio one morning and after teaching 2 classes of yoga. And for a very long time, I would wake up in the morning with my phone in hand, checking emails, checking classes. Did the teacher turn up? Have people turned up? Is the teacher there? And looking at social media and starting my morning already frazzled and fried, not taking
Guilty.
time to. I know this is what we do. We've all got into this habit where we're checking the to do list. We literally hit the ground running. And one morning when I was leaving the yoga studio, I thought to myself, my nervous system cannot keep doing this. I cannot, like, I can feel myself really out of whack here. I'm out of equilibrium. I can feel my adrenaline is pumping. And I am responsible for this. I have to start my day better. So, what I know about having a little morning practice is that it needs to take all this time. I thought, I actually don't have that time. But what I have got is a little bit of time. And I thought, well, I'll start. So, how I started, I thought I'll get up in the morning and I'll just have a quick little meditate. What happens to me in the morning? So, don't touch the phone, get up and just have a quick meditation. What happens though is if I get out of bed and start to meditate, I'm too sleepy. I get the nods again. So, what I know about yoga is yoga ignites our energy centers. Yoga wakes us up. So, I thought, well, it needs to be just a little bit of yoga. So, I thought, okay, I can do 21 minutes. So, I thought, okay, 7 minutes of yoga. So, 7 minutes of just igniting our chakras, igniting our energy centers, then sitting with a meditation. Because once you've kind of got the wriggles out the body and you're alive, you can sit then and really zone in. And particularly in the morning when you haven't had your itty bitty shitty committee wake up yet and start talking in your head and you haven't, all of that, you can actually center. So then the beautiful meditation. Then, of course, after the meditation, it's great to have a journal because we cannot write as fast as we can think. So it really slows our thoughts down. And it's a chance for your intuition to speak to you, or I like to say your voice of wisdom to speak to you and just allow you to just zone in and say, what does my inner self want me to know today? And that was my little process. So the other part of the process, though, Liz, is I know that if I was to set this morning practice, I'm really good. If I make a commitment to someone, I will show up. So I thought, I'm going to start a Facebook group because then I know if I say that I'm going to turn up, I'll turn up for everyone else. So that's how it started. So 21 minutes of morning magic. So in the beautiful group on a Monday morning, I go live. I used to go live 3 mornings a week, but I'm just once a week at the moment because I've got a few things happening. And then we purely just do 7 minutes of yoga together. We do 7 minutes of meditation, then 7 minutes of journaling. And in that process, actually, I have to send you one, Liz. I'm going to grab it. I wrote a book. I'm going to send you one, Liz. I'm just going to grab it and show you it.
For
Uh,
sure. Thanks.
so in the process of doing this, people would say, I really would love a journaling or a floetry practice, but I don't know what to journal about. So before I would start the morning practice, I would write a theme for the day and meditation and a floetry prompt. And then after a year, I had a whole book full of them. So I put them into a
I
book, and
love
I'm
this.
the most, I really am the most unlikely author. However, this book wrote me. Like I would just purely, so what's today? Today's the 11th of June. I'll give you an example. What's today? Oh, today is order it. When you put your order into the universe, only write down what you want, not the opposite. That's our theme for the day. Then our meditation and mantra is I'm ready to receive my order from the universe. So when we're in meditation, the mind often wanders. So I'll just give an anchor statement. So the anchor statement would be when you're sitting there and the mind wanders is you'd say, I'm ready to receive my order from the universe. And then the floetry prompt is make a list of all the things you'd love the universe to deliver to me. So that's kind of how the book looks. It
I
just has
love
like
this.
pretty much, yeah, the theme. So it's very, very simple. But this is the thing about a morning practice or starting your day. Simplicity is the key. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't. And even that 7 minutes of yoga, 7 minutes of meditation, 7 minutes of floetry, if you can only do 3 minutes of each, if you can only do 5 minutes of each, it's not about the time. Back to your beautiful tip, it's about the intention.
Mhm.
So just that intention. And often you'll hear women say, oh, the mantra this morning was I am present, let's say. It will just be something simple. And someone goes, oh my gosh, that was my anchor through the whole day. Every time I felt myself getting derailed, I just go, I am present. I am present. So, in that morning, too, what happens when we first wake, our mind, we're very, very, I guess you could say, malleable. We can kind of be molded. So, if we pop the intention in and start our day with just a bit of I guess, a touchstone to keep our nervous system in check, it's the gift that keeps giving all day. It really is. So, yeah. So, I mean, for anyone, just a really simple morning practice where you don't start your day checking social media. You don't flick your nervous system out because that's what happens. And particularly in midlife, when already our hormones are hopping and popping, if you're in perimenopause, they're high one day, they're the low, it can be really challenging to ride that. And then in menopause, our hormones have left the building It's really great to be able to soothe our soul. Yeah, I
Oh,
know it's
Emma,
very
you are
sad.
so fabulous. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing all of this wisdom about what you were doing and the women you were helping. We need more people like you, Emma. So thank you. For those watching, how can they get a hold of you and get a copy of your book and all those things?
So Instagram's probably the best place. So it's Emma_Walkenshaw. I'm also on Facebook too as Emma Walkenshaw. So you can definitely the social medias. And then from there in the bio is my website. So it is just Emma Walkenshaw. Yeah, it's easy.
Well, great. Thank you so much for coming on and for sharing your wisdom today, all the way from Australia. We really appreciate it. If you have questions for Emma, leave them in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for joining us today on Live with Liz, and we'll see you next month. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks.